Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar with Rand Group, and we'll be tackling the topic GP Modern Lifecycle Support. My name is Gina Santos, and I will be your presenter today. So just a quick intro on myself. I am one of the directors at Rand Group, and I lead the Dynamics GP practice, but I also lead the SAP and customer experience practices. And customer experience includes D365 CRM. I am a certified ERP implementation consultant across multiple ERP solutions, and I have over 20 years of experience in consulting in industry. And if I was asked what my passion is or what my noble purpose is when it comes to my professional life, it's that I'm really driven by the opportunity to work with our clients to improve their daily lives. And it's really exciting to see how we can use technology and efficient processes to make our clients' workday a little easier and a little better. So with that introduction out of the way, let's review our agenda for today's webinar. We'll start with going over some housekeeping and administrative items. And since we do have a mix of attendees and we have a good turnout this afternoon, we will do a quick introduction of Rand Group and followed by our main topic for today, which is the GP Modern Lifecycle Support. Then we will end by addressing your questions. As I mentioned, we do have a good number of participants, but we will keep all those attendees in listen-only mode to avoid any issues with background noise or any unintended interruptions. And we're also going to ask you to type in your questions in the question box on the GoToWebinar panel. Just make sure that you type it in the question box and not in the chat box. And in the interest of keeping the flow of the presentation, we will address your questions at the end of the presentation. So if for some reason we run out of time, which I don't think will be the case, we will provide answers to any questions that we don't address today, and we'll send them over by email. And our marketing team will make sure that we close the loop on those unanswered questions. And finally, the webinar is being recorded, and it will be available for future reference. So let's start by introducing you to Rand Group. Rand Group was founded in 2003, and based out of Houston. Our main asset is really our employees. Across our practices and teams, we have consultants and resources that have significant work experience and professional credentials such as CPA and MBAs. We have folks that have degrees in accounting, computer science, and engineering, and many of us have also worked in industry, so we know what it's like to be an ERP end user. We also have expertise across multiple platforms, including Microsoft, Oracle, and SAP. And with that diverse product offering, we have serviced over 500 clients and over 2,500 successful implementations and engagements. And because we have been successful in our projects, we have a high client retention rate, higher than the average retention in the consulting industry. And because of that track record, we do have a lot of clients that come to us after they've worked with another partner, and we have helped them after a failed or poor implementation, and we've given them ongoing support and services. So this slide shows our mission, which is to help people use technology for business success. We really believe that a software system that is aligned with your business and works as promised really reduces your users' frustrations. It increases acceptance of the system and makes the company and its people more connected and more productive. As we've grown over the last 17 years, this has really meant that if we wanted to accomplish our mission, we had to expand our service offerings. So today we cover the complete customer life cycle. We start with the core infrastructure, and we make sure that it's rock solid, whether it be cloud-based or on-premise or hybrid. And then we move on to the core business solutions, so we can assist with ERP, production systems, CRM, e-commerce, and any other point solutions needed to run our client's business effectively. And we also look at revenue-facing assets such as websites and digital marketing. And we also help with the client's pressure of operating 24/7. So we help with portals for their customers and employees. And of course, no system would really be complete without detailed reporting and analytics on any aspect of the business, and without the need for a huge, big team of IT experts pulling the information manually. So we really view all the system designs through the lens of business intelligence, making sure that what is needed to ensure your management to be satisfied is the ability to get the access and the information. And so with that mission, we wanted to make sure that we could also provide additional education to our clients. And now that you know a little bit more about RAND Group, let's get to our webinar topic, which is the GP Modern Lifecycle Support. So we're going back to the basics of trying to tackle the 5 questions, 5 W's and 1 H. So what is GP support, and specifically what is GP Modern Support? Who is eligible for support? When is it available? Why should they stay current on GP support? Where is Microsoft headed in the future with this GP support offering? And the 1H, which is how can you stay current on GP support? So we'll start with the first question. What is GP support? And at its basic level, GP support is a service provided by Microsoft to Dynamics GP clients. So there's 2 levels of support, mainstream support and extended support. Mainstream support is available for GP products for the first 5 years after the version release. During those 5 years, Microsoft will provide service packs, year-end updates, hot fixes for security updates, new product features, and Microsoft also provides self-help and online support for clients under this support system. As an example, someone who's on GP 2018 will have mainstream support until the year 2023. When the first 5 years are up, the GP product version then goes under extended support. Under this support, Microsoft no longer provides updates to the product, and the only updates available would be anything that's security related. But under this support, the clients can still get self-help and paid support. So the next question is, who is covered under the GP support programs? Simply stated, clients who are current under Microsoft Dynamics Support Plan are covered under GP support. So what that means is that to stay current, clients must pay their annual recurring payment based on the original software purchase cost. And the support plan really is managed by Microsoft. It's offered by them, but it is administered through your GP partners, meaning that GP clients receive their annual plan invoices from their partner of record, and then GP partners process those support plan renewals with Microsoft. And GP clients can choose from one of 3 different plan options. The first one is the enhancement plan, which is 16% of the software purchase. The second is the Advantage plan, which is 18% of software purchase. And then the Advantage Plus is 25% of software purchase. Here's some details on those different plans. And you'll see that across all the plans, GP clients can avail of new versions and product updates. They can protect their original list price at the time of purchase and use that as the basis for the renewal rates. GP clients also have the ability to get credit on their software if they want to transition from one Microsoft Dynamics license to another. So this credit can also be used to transition to the cloud if that's something that is a fit for GP users whose business needs are changing or growing. GP clients also get access to online training, certs, and guides, and they can do that through the customer source portal. It is a tool that's probably underutilized or not familiar across many GP users. So if some of you are not familiar with customer source, we would suggest that you contact your GP administrator within your organization to set up your access to customer source. If you do need assistance with getting access, we'd be happy to help you. And if we are your GP partner of record, we could certainly do that. So you could drop me an email and I can assist you with getting that access. I'll provide my email address and contact information at the end of the session. So the difference between the three plans is the support incidents that are included in the plan. Under enhancement, you don't get any prepaid support incidents, but under Advantage, you do get 6 prepaid Microsoft support incidents. And under the Advantage Plus, you do get unlimited Microsoft support incidents. So the next question is when? When are the start and end dates of GP support? So it's broken down really by the clients being covered based on the Dynamics GP version that you are currently using. So let's take a look at that schedule. So this is that schedule of the GP Fix lifecycle support. If you recall, we talked about the mainstream support lifecycle, which is good for 5 years after the product version is released. And under the mainstream support, GP clients can still get product updates and feature enhancements. Once the product version switches to extended support, Microsoft will no longer release updates and feature enhancements for those versions. So what that means is that Microsoft has stopped releasing product updates, year-end updates, tax updates, and other feature enhancements for GP 2015 or older. You'll see that GP 2016 is still covered under mainstream support up until July 2021, and GP 2018 is covered until January 2023. But as of 2019, Microsoft released the new product version and renamed it Dynamics GP. Microsoft decided to drop the year from the product name and refer to this ERP simply as Dynamics GP. So from this point on, I will talk about Dynamics GP as that version. Microsoft decided to drop it, and they've also introduced a new support lifecycle for this product version. So Dynamics GP is no longer covered under the Fixed Lifecycle Support Program. Instead, Dynamics GP will be covered under the new GP Modern Support Lifecycle. As I mentioned earlier, Dynamics GP was released in 2019 and is now simply called Dynamics GP. And according to Microsoft's GP roadmap, it is the last known major version of Dynamics GP. And for those of you who are already on Dynamics GP, you will notice that the version itself has the major build number that is just like 2018. So it's 18, the major version. But the differentiator is the minor build number, where Dynamics GP will have the versions that have a 2 in the minor version. So Dynamics GP will be covered under the GP Modern Support Lifecycle. And under this lifecycle, you'll have 3 different releases per year. There are 3 different updates per year, one in June, one in October, and one at year-end in November or December. These releases are minor compared to the major version upgrades, and they don't include major data structure or architecture changes. So the release in June is usually for tax updates and bug fixes. The one in October will be for feature updates and bug fixes. And the November-December update will be for year-end tax updates and bug fixes. And to stay current on the GP Modern Support Plan, the client must apply at least one of the 3 updates per year. So the next question is why? Why stay current on GP support? So staying current on GP support offers you the following benefits, some of which we've already touched on earlier. First, you do get access to product enhancements. And this is a prime example of what's happening this year, where most recently IRS changed 1099s for calendar year 2020. You may be aware that IRS requires a new form now for 1099 miscellaneous non-employee comp. And this change applies to 1099 forms that you'll be submitting in January of 2021. So Microsoft plans to release year-end updates for versions under mainstream support that will encompass this change and support this change in your 1099 forms. I do have to pause here because I want to inform you that Microsoft is no longer releasing year-end updates for GP 2018 or GP 2018 R2. If you are in one of these versions and you need the year-end update this December, then you'll need to apply the Dynamics GP year-end update. What that means is this will transition you to the modern GP version and the GP Modern Support Lifecycle. I'll say that again because it is a mouthful and it is a little bit confusing, but GP 2018 and GP 2018 R2 will no longer have year-end updates available to them. If you need the year-end update, you will have to apply the Dynamics GP year-end update, and that'll push you into the GP Modern Support Lifecycle. So that's part of the product enhancements. The other benefit of staying current on GP support is the protected list price, where we talked about preserving your original list price and using that as the basis for any additional module purchases, or be able to budget what your year after year annual plan renewal cost would be. We also talked about the transition investment credit, and that is something that GP clients can use if they want to transition to another Microsoft product or transition to the cloud. So this is a topic that we will cover at next month's webinar, where we will talk about the options to migrate from GP to Microsoft D365 Business Central. License mobility is also available for GP clients that are on GP support. So this means that GP clients can move their environments from on-premise to a hosted environment through an authorized service provider's server farm. And this also includes the option to host your GP in Microsoft Azure. We do have some clients that are hosted in RAN Group's Azure environment. So finally, we do have online resources and Microsoft support available to those current on GP support, and they also avail of new features and functionalities. So to give an idea of what is available in the new Dynamics GP version, here's a list of some of the new features available across all the modules. And this is not an exhaustive list, but wanted to point out a couple items here. Under System Enhancements, Dynamics GP is compatible with the most up-to-date versions of the operating system, SQL Server, and Microsoft Office. So that helps ensure the longevity and the lifespan of your environment and licenses as it relates to Dynamics GP. Reporting shows a list of enhancements for Smart List, which is a tool that's heavily used by GP users. And Workflow is also one that is a popular feature that's been improved significantly in GP 2018 R2, and then it continues to go through more enhancements in Dynamics GP. And then lastly, the financial and distribution and payroll modules also offer some additional new features. So the second to the last question and the last W is where? Where is GP headed? So this is a very colloquial or informal way of asking the question, what is Microsoft's product roadmap for GP? So Microsoft will continue to support GP with a product roadmap that leads to that Dynamics GP version that we talked about under the GP Modern Support Lifecycle. It is committed to continuing the development of Dynamics GP through those 3 updates per year. It is also a very simple support lifecycle under that modern support so that you know you can just stay current and apply minor updates every year. So with that said, you can continue to use Dynamics GP. You can continue to avail of the annual updates that are more cost effective and less disruptive, since these 3 updates a year are pretty minor and they're considered minor hops. These updates can be applied directly onto your production environment. And it doesn't need to go through a pre-production or test upgrade. It's akin to applying a year-end update or a service pack or a hot fix, and doesn't require the same level of effort as upgrading with a major version. And finally, GP clients can explore the option of transitioning to the cloud, and they can either move to a hosted environment like Azure or explore the option of transitioning to a true cloud-based solution like Dynamics D365 Business Central. And then our last question with the 1H of how. How do you stay current under the GP support plan so that you can get the most out of your system with available updates and enhancements? So clients can stay current on GP support and be covered under the support lifecycle by paying the annual support plan, upgrading to a version that is covered either under mainstream support or GP modern support, and then applying at least one update per year under the GP modern support cycle. And all of these requirements for updates are very different for each client. So the decision to upgrade can be affected by the modules that you use, the customizations and integrations that you have, and any third-party products and ISV tools that you have in your GP environment. You also may have some business changes and business growth that may affect your ERP needs and requirements. So RAND Group can provide input and insight into upgrade options or for planning for ERP needs and requirements. So with that said, I will turn it over to questions now. We've completed our presentation and we'll take any questions you have. So if you do have any questions, you can enter them in the question box, and it looks like we do have some questions here. The first question is, you said GP 2018 and 2018 R2 will not receive year-end updates. What about GP 2015? So good question. Unfortunately, GP 2015 ended its mainstream support in April of this year, of 2020. So GP 2015 will no longer have year-end updates available for it. So if you want to avail of year-end updates, you'll have to upgrade to either GP 2016 or GP 2018 or Dynamics GP so that you have year-end updates available. To clarify, GP 2018 and 2018 R2 can get year-end updates, but it will push you to the new Dynamics GP version. Hopefully that answers that question. The next question is, are the updates under Modern Lifecycle generally performed by the customer or the GP partner? Yeah, the answer to that is it depends. We do have some customers that have IT teams that are comfortable with applying those updates themselves, but we do have a large majority of our customers that come to RAND Group and ask us to do the updates, or that you can go to your own GP partner if you're comfortable with having them apply the updates. Next question is, can you upgrade from any of the past versions to the newest as one step, or do you have to perform multiple upgrades? So there is an upgrade path to the newest version, Dynamics GP. It really depends on which version you're on. But if you are on an older version, it usually requires multiple hops. So as an example, coming from GP 2015, you would have to go through GP 2016 and then to Dynamics GP. If you're on 2016, then you can go hop directly into Dynamics GP. And similarly, if you're on GP 2018, you can hop directly into Dynamics GP. So there are some upgrade paths that are available and published by Microsoft. So if you have any questions, we can certainly assist you with that, and you can send me an email on which version you're on so we can assist you with determining what your upgrade path would be. Okay. We do have time for more questions. Okay, I think I see a couple more. All right, okay, here's another question. On Dynamics GP, what happens if we don't apply any of the 3 updates in a given year? So that is a good question, and we have passed this question on to Microsoft. So even if Microsoft publishes that you must apply every year, Microsoft did confirm that the updates are a strong recommendation, but not a hard and fast requirement. But if a client does not apply an update, Microsoft will continue to support them, but if they skip years and they eventually need to apply a later update for a bug fix, for example, or a year-end update, then they'll need to apply each one of the missed updates. And that's the only upgrade path that has been known to work for these Dynamics GP quarterly updates. So again, if you do skip years, Microsoft is still supporting you. However, once you are ready to apply an update, you'll have to apply each of the updates that you missed in those years. Another question is, does Microsoft have a way of migrating our GP data to D365 Business Central, or do we have to do a full implementation? So that's a good question. There are some tools that are available for migrating GP data to Business Central, and there are some data tools that are available for that. Rand Group also has a methodology for helping clients to migrate from GP to Business Central, since we are familiar with both product offerings. So we know what the data structure is of one to be migrated to the other. So there are different options for migrating that. And I think I mentioned that we are having a webinar in August to cover that topic. So if you do want to be invited to that, you can send me an email. We can add you to the invite list. Okay. I think those are the questions that we have for today. We have another one. Oh, I think we've already covered that one. So that is all the questions that we have for today. Thank you. Those are very good questions. And so if you do have any questions following our webinar, this is my contact information, and please do drop me an email or give me a call. And as I mentioned earlier, you can email me if you need assistance with accessing customer source or have any questions with on updates and upgrade paths. And again, thank you so much for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of the week and stay safe.